Hey everyone, how's it going? So last time what we did is we got the button press working so that when you click it, it will go and get the post ID and then it just logs it out for us. So now when we press the button, we have access to the post ID, which means we know which post we're making a request about. So I just want to talk to you real quick about the REST request types before we make the call to update this, or to actually add the like, I should say. So for those of you who don't know about REST APIs and the kind of requests that we do, we have covered a couple so far. We've covered post requests and we've done get requests as well. But I just want to give you some information and let you know that the type of requests you make matter. So it does matter whether you send it as a get request or a post request. Although a lot of times the URL you're sending it to might be the same, the type of request does matter. So why does it matter? Well, users of this REST API expect it to behave a certain way when they use a certain type of request. So if they use a GET request, they're going to assume that they can get results back. If they submit a POST request, they're going to assume that it's going to create some resource. So the type of request matters. Although technically speaking, you could just use a post request for all of them. It would work on a technical level. For example, if you did a request like this for a post, like a post request, just like we've done already, we did this when we created a post. We did a post request, sent it to this URL, and we sent some data as well. We just sent the content of the post. But we could also do another one, a post request also, and you could specify the type equals delete. You could then, specify the type equals update. So my point is, technically speaking, it would work. There's nothing stopping it working because it's down to you how you implement this on the server. But just because you could literally do it like this, a post request for all of them, where you just specify the type of request you're doing, you shouldn't do that. So the correct way to do it is to use a certain type of request for every single operation. So for example, a GET request would be used to retrieve posts, right? So if you wanted to get some posts, you'd do a GET request to this URL. If you wanted to create a post, you'd do a POST request to this URL, right? If you wanted to update a post, which we're about to do, we're about to update a post and add a like to it, you'd do it as what's called a PUT request. Okay, you think of it as like you're putting data into an existing resource. All right, and the way you do this usually is by saying API/posts/ and then whatever the ID of the resource you want to update is. And then also you could do a delete request where you just make a request to API/posts/ID and it would delete a resource. So my point is the type of request matters. So you can see how we make a call to a certain endpoint and using the exact same URL, just changing the type of request is going to have very different results. For example, one is going to update and one is going to delete the resource entirely. So if you made a mistake and sent it as a delete instead of a put, then it's going to delete the resource. So as you create things like this, you should be careful which types you're using and create your API, which is what we're doing on the server, by the way. You should create your API accordingly. So when I say create your API, I'm talking about on the server when we do things like this. Make sure you're handling like post scenarios, you're handling get scenarios, and think about what it would do inside based on the type of request it is.